Hey guys, Zach Calhoun here. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to determine what business to start, what to do, why and how you need to think in order to determine, should I start this business? Should I do this activity? Should I have this side hustle? Should I raise money for this? Those are all like different choices that come to our mind whenever we think about entrepreneurship. And the reality is the order is the most important thing. The order of the sequence of the journey that you go on in entrepreneurship is more important than the actual business idea. And you'll see why in a moment. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to find pain or problems in a market. And I'm going to narrow down and even miss one thing. Find the pain. Okay. Read a great book and followed a guy for a little while years ago. His name is Dane Maxwell. He started SaaS companies, software companies. And I loved and was attracted to the idea of starting a software as a service business many years ago because of the idea of a hosted product on the internet can be sold anywhere. It's so scalable. It can go so far, so fast that I am not what's holding back the growth. The human element or the service element does not hold it back. So, of course, I loved and listened to whatever I could about software as a service products. But what was interesting about his previous content in the past was he did not focus on the product or SaaS in his content. He focused on finding the pain. If you can find pain, you can build a product or service around that pain and the transactions will come easy. This is a much different way of thinking than just what ideas do you have. And it's okay to have ideas. I have lots of ideas. A lot of creative work happens in entrepreneurship, and that's why it's a lot of fun. But if you do not find the pain and let that be your foundation for decision making, you're just guessing. And you can make good guesses. So I'm going to give you an example. CloudPano is, and by the time maybe 10 years from now, who knows where CloudPano will be. But we've reached this really healthy place now where we're starting to build product lines for specific industries. And the way you go about the process of making decisions is not, hey, I had this idea, let's throw it up there and see if anybody will buy it. That doesn't really work that well. What we'd like to do is push on the market, talk to them, speak to them, ask questions. And then from speaking to our customers, we're able to see what on the pain threshold is high enough where they're excited and ready to pay for it. Does that make sense? So here's what I mean. In any business or any industry, for example, CloudPano, we have the real estate business, we have CloudPano Automotive. Automotive is a great example. Car dealerships, power sports, boats, RVs. These industries have specific pains and problems and needs. And as you dig into an industry, you learn things. For example, we learn that, manufacturers drive price of new inventory most of the time. So the margin for a dealership is higher for a used inventory vehicle or unit. Well, if that's true, a lot of their marketing spend will be dedicated towards that specific higher margin part of their business and the service side as well too. So as you talk to the customer, you're able to understand, hey, what's important to you? What are you doing now? And if you think about someone who's a dealership or even a realtor or someone who just kind of arbitrates, like they temporarily take on risk or they just consign, maybe don't even take risk at all, and then sell at a margin, their goal is all the time two things. Get enough inventory to sell it and sell as fast as you can. All the time, that's what you're thinking about. It's just get inventory, sell the inventory. Move the inventory fast. Get it, move it. So if fast is very important, then we need our product to also be fast. Otherwise, it ain't going to get used. It ain't going to keep customers around for a long time. And people are going to churn out if they can't go fast, go quick, and basically make it happen quickly for them. Because speed is so important to them. So we learn this by speaking to them. Speaking to the customer. This is how you learn pains and problems. So it's better, my point is this, it's better to look at an industry first and say, I like this industry. Let me go talk to some people in that industry and see if I can find some repeatable pains and problems I can build a product around or a service. Products are sometimes better because you can just let that product sell, and that's the fulfillment. Services you can add on for a higher cost, but they take time. So time is an issue sometimes. I get that. So be mindful of that. You might want to layer on services later when you figured out your repeatable product, right? So in the entire scope of creating a business, the beginning sequence of find the painful problem will help determine where to drive the ship, where to put our mind, thoughts, and resources towards. And as you get on the field, you'll see more opportunities. So I love the analogy of from the stands, you can see less opportunities. If you ever go to a high school football game and you look down, you see a bunch of players hitting each other. But if you're on the field, you can see the holes, you can see where the safety, broke coverage, you can see where to run the ball, you can see where to go on the field. So you have to get on the field to determine those pains and problems. So here's a practical tip for you today of what you could do today. And if you don't do it, your only excuse is you just didn't conjure up enough courage, okay? You can either get into your vehicle and knock on a door of a business, of an industry that you like or have seen before, and walk in there. It's not illegal to walk into a business. Actually, most of the time, they want you to walk in there. Hey, what are you here for? And you could literally say the words, hey, I'm here to talk to the owner or the manager, depending on the business type. Just wanted to check on what they're doing in this with this part of their business or whatever it is. It could be the marketing part. It could be the graphic design. It could be their photography. It could be their website. And just go ask them. Talk to them in person. Talk to a stranger. Or you can pick up your phone and make 10 cold calls to the industry and find out, hey, would you be interested in something like this? I'm just doing some research. Nothing is wrong with doing some research. And I'm going to tell you this, maybe it's 5 years ago, my first successful business, this is what I did. I looked up a large listing website, and I started to cold call. And I would literally say, hey, my name's Zach. Nice to meet you. I'm actually calling because we do this. I inserted a service into the X. And I just want to know if you're interested in something like this. And I had an idea of how I could fulfill on it digitally as a digital service. And I just asked, hey, are you guys interested in something like this? When I had enough data points, 10, 12 calls in, and I had multiple people tell me, yeah, okay, I'm interested, shoot me a price. I was like, okay, there's some signal there. Good. What's the price? I'm like, hey, what's the price? I just doubled the price of what I was told, and I said, well, the price is this. I think it's $20, so I said, oh, it's $40. And I said, sure. I said, I'll do it. Here's an example. Here's a project. Can you show me an example? And I sent an invoice. They paid it, and I was like, wow, I have a business here. So it's a business once they pay for it. But speaking to the customer, finding that painful problem, you'll hopefully be able to determine after enough calls, enough times trying this type of thing, what is painful enough that the transaction comes easy. If the transaction comes easy, then you got yourself a business on your hands, bro. Ma'am. Okay? Now you just need to put the pieces of the puzzle together or the dominoes in place so that you can attract more customers, you can fulfill well, build the machine, take your hands off of it, and rinse and repeat. Okay? But that comes much easier from finding the pain. So here is your takeaway today. Find something painful. Listen with your ears. Look in the eyes of people who make financial choices, of buyers, people who buy stuff, who invest in stuff. And ask them, ask this question. This is a great question to ask. When you go to sleep at night, what's the one thing you're thinking about that if it were just better, life would be better? There is always one thing they're thinking about when they go to lay their head down at night. And that will change in certain seasons for certain types of business owners or or other managers of companies. But in that season, you need to go find out what that is. That's your job as an entrepreneur. What's the pain? Okay? So leave your ideas as open-handed, kind of push them down in your mind almost, and go find the pain. After you have those conversations, after you talk to those people about their pain, they start to tell you what's important to them, and you ask open-ended questions. Hey, what's important to you? What's painful to you? What are you trying to do? And you can even categorize it. What's the most painful for you right now in your marketing? Right? When you find those things out, then you go back to your ideas tab and you start writing down your ideas. And you can even take your ideas and price points back to that same person you interviewed, and they may tell you, yeah, I'd probably buy that. Well, hot dang, you got yourself a business on your hand, right? Don't go crazy building a website, building business cards, getting a logo, or any of that stuff until you have a transaction, until you have money in hand. So sometimes people will say, yeah, I'd buy that, but they won't actually take their wallet out and buy it. Once someone's like, yes, take my money, now you got yourself something you can work with. Okay? Keep that in mind. So, in this episode is about one thing, find the pain. If you find the pain, you will have clarity. And clarity is way more valuable than any idea. I'll see you in the next episode.